So in the previous example, we looked at how to get rid of all the people on the bridge. Now, what if, for example, I handed my camera to somebody and I had them take a picture of me and, they got a good shot of me in the bridge, but there's someone behind me moving, taking pictures of other people. How do I get rid of everyone behind me, but yet preserve myself in the photograph? So what you want to do, first of all, is you want to cut your subject out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to the object or the quick selection, any of these. Now, if I do the object find, if I roll over, I'm probably going to appear. But I want a better selection than that. So I'm going to go under the select subject. And see the little arrow, we've got device or cloud. If I choose cloud, it's going to give me a much better result than if I do use device, because device is using the local power of my local computer, whereas the cloud is using the, all the servers and much more powerful computing. But you have to be connected to the internet to do it. But of course, we have to be connected to the internet to do generative fill anyway. All right, great. So now that we've done that, let's choose select subject and let's get a selection of the person. Looking good. Let's zoom in a little bit and see how good this selection is. See if it's good enough. I think we need to refine this a little bit. So I'm going to grab the selection brush. So we're going to grab the quick selection tool. Hit the left bracket key to make it smaller. Now, if we hit the minus key, that's going to take away from the selection. The plus key is going to add to the selection or just paint on it. So I'm just going to kind of clean up this edge a little bit. Now, this isn't a course on making selections, so I'm not going to spend too much time on that, but I just want to show you, how we can get a better selection here. And let's just go around there. And there we go. We just definitely want to just get rid of these really obvious areas. Looking pretty good there. And I'm going to lose a little bit of my ear. Let me grab that. And hit the minus, get the neck, and then just go back in again. All right. A little bit more here. Great. A little bit more. All right. So I'm not going to take the time to make it perfect, but that's pretty good. That's actually a pretty decent selection now. You could go into select to mask and further refine it if you want. In fact, why don't I just to show you how to do it. So we'll go into select to mask, turn the transparency all the way up. Now let's take this down to 100% view so we can see, accurately what we're looking at. And I'll just click on something. Well, let's just hit the enter key. I don't want to hit the enter key because there we go. That got it. And what I want to do is just show the edge here. And the reason I want to show the edges, I'm going to choose a radius. And I want to pull it just when that edge is just starting to show. And then I'm going to turn that off. That's actually going to help me a little bit on that edge as well. And then the other thing you can do is if you scroll down here, you'll see another option that will enable us to just refine this a little bit more. That will be under, let's go under output settings. We could choose decontaminate colors. And that'll get rid of, any kind of colored fringing. And then we're going to do a new layer for layer mask. Sounds good to me. Click OK. Great. So now if we look at this, we've got our whole image underneath with this cutout of myself on top. So we're just going to hide that top layer and just show the background, make sure it's selected. All right, let's just grab our lasso tool and let's just go around and see if we can get rid of everything here. So let's just go around there. Try and keep it a little bit tight on some of the details, but don't worry about it too much over there. And now let's hit our generative fill and hit generate and see what we get. And that's looking pretty good. And then just turn the layer on with yourself back in there. Okay, so it looks pretty good, but notice the feet are looking pretty bad. So what we want to do is let's just have a look and we're going to see what we've got in this image. If we look here, there's our original feet. Notice the shadows are in there. Now we could try and recreate those shadows, but an easier way to do that would actually be just to paint inside this mask. So that layer, if we want to hide that portion of the layer, we're going to hit black. If we want to show that portion of the layer, we paint with white. So what we want to do is hide that portion of the layer around the feet area. So we're going to grab our brush and make sure we're painting with black. And as we paint, notice we paint back in the previous layer. And let's go right up to the edge of that line. And now if I pop myself back in there, notice I go over the top, and now we've got the natural looking shadows in there to ground, to kind of just ground the photo and make it look like I'm there and not just floating. So that's how you can kind of combine things like masks and retouching.